A few years ago, I found out I had brain cancer. I actually had it removed at a very well-known hospital out of state. I considered staying there for treatment, but at the same time, I really felt that I should take some time to think about all my options. After all, choosing a treatment center is important, and I honestly wanted to stay closer to home if I could. I talked with various doctors, and I ultimately ended up choosing Rocky Mountain Oncology and Dr. John Proviance. I have never regretted my decision. I was so overwhelmed with the whole idea of having cancer and then having to decide what kind of radiation to choose. Dr. Proviance spent a lot of time helping me see all of my options and guiding me into choosing the best treatment for my condition. He was gentle in his approach and very clear as to what he thought would be best for me. The hospital I'd been at previously wanted to perform whole brain radiation. Dr. Proviance encouraged me to try partial brain radiation treatment called intensity modulated radiation therapy instead. My chances were still good with that treatment, and if all went well, I would endure far fewer side effects. I ultimately chose to follow Dr. Proviance's plan for care and treatment. The more I learned about whole brain radiation, the more grateful I became for Dr. Proviance and the alternative he offered me. In the end, his knowledge and support helped me and my husband make the best decision, and now I have this great story to tell.
I thought that IMRT offered the best chance of cure for what I thought was a rare brain tumor rather than stage 4 disease.
Here I am, 3 years since my tumor was removed, almost 3 years since my last radiation treatment. All my MRIs, CTs, and PET scans have been clear, and I'm convinced to this day the treatment option Dr. Proviance helped me choose is one of the reasons that I'm still cancer-free. The staff at Rocky Mountain is another reason for my continued health. They took exceptional care of me during that treatment period. They all knew me by name. Even now, every appointment I go to at Rocky Mountain is a treat because I get to see all of those wonderful people who were with me every step of the way. We greet each other with smiles and hugs, much like a family, and I'm so grateful for the care and the treatment that I received there. I feel somewhat like an ambassador of the facility. I know I don't work there, but I definitely make sure to let anyone I know who's going through this process that I am positive Rocky Mountain Oncology is the best place for them. I hope I continue to remain cancer-free, but if the cancer does return, I know I will go back to Rocky Mountain Oncology Center and feel surrounded by the best group of people around. I'm grateful, and it may sound corny, but I really do love those people.
My name is Donald Hedges. In 2005, I discovered I had lung cancer. A surgeon in Grand Junction, Colorado, removed part of my right lung. He told me then I was going to have radiation. I could either have it down there or come back to Wyoming. I didn't know either place, really. I didn't know anything about any of the doctors, so I started asking questions. Rocky Mountain Oncology seemed to be the best bet. I talked to Dr. Tobin, and he set up the treatments. And the thing that most people don't realize, that you take 34 treatments, that's 5 days a week, and you have to travel, like I did, from Riverton, Wyoming to Casper, Wyoming. And that's every day for 5 days. 34 treatments. The lucky part of it is that Dr. Tobin and the staff over there have a bus that picks the people up, brings them down from Lander, Riverton, Shoshone, Thermopolis, and there's no charge. A lot of people couldn't have their treatments if it wasn't for that bus. The crew over there at Rocky Mountain Oncology is the best. They're absolutely the best. If you do the recommendations and you have a good oncology, there's no reason why you have to give up in 2 years. I would say anyone that did have cancer, go to someone like Dr. Tobin explain what you have and the way you feel, and it will give you a different outlook on life because they really care. They do a wonderful job.
Hi, I'm Renee Hedges. Don and I were planning a trip to Arizona, and we were so excited. But before we could go off for the winter, I wanted to go and have my annual checkup done, just to get it out of the way. I went for my mammogram, and to my surprise, a small tumor was detected in my left breast. A sonogram confirmed it, and it was determined that I should have a biopsy done and remove the mass. After the surgery, the doctor said, "Everything looks good. It doesn't appear to be cancer. I'll see you in a week, and after that, you should be able to go to Arizona for the winter." It sure sounded good to us. On Friday, I went for my checkup. That's when I heard the awful news. It was cancer. I can't even describe how it made me feel. The good news was that it was in the very beginning state. I would have to have another surgery. My chances without it were not good. And of course, radiation would be necessary after that. My first thought, and then the first words out of my mouth were, "But we're packed, loaded, and ready for our trip. We have a wedding in Mexico to attend next Friday, and I've been planning on it all year. I just can't have cancer now." I figure I had two choices. I could have everything sent to a doctor in Arizona, or I could come back to Wyoming in 2 weeks and have the surgery and radiation. I thought about it a little, but really, I knew I liked the surgeon I had. And if I was going to have radiation, I definitely wanted it to be in Casper, at a place I knew I could trust. There was no question. My choice was Rocky Mountain Oncology.
After reviewing Renee's case, I felt she was an excellent candidate for partial breast irradiation.
Then I started to think about the radiation. 6 weeks, 1 treatment a day, 5 days a week, 240-mile round trip. I can tell you that definitely I was not looking forward to that. I talked to Dr. White. He tried to help me explore my options, and then he told me I was a candidate for a partial breast irradiation. He explained the benefits, how it would work, and the success that they had had with the treatment. The balloon could be inserted into my breast at the same time for the surgery for the biopsy. To do 6 weeks of radiation in 5 days, 2 treatments a day, and get the same results? Well, that's something, so I said, let's do it. I knew I could get the very best care at Rocky Mountain Oncology. Dr. Tobin, the nurses, the technician, and the office staff were awesome. I knew I wasn't familiar with Dr. Proviance, but I knew he had to be one of the best to be part of the Rocky Mountain team. I got to know him. He really cares about you. Each and every one of them at the Oncology Center care about you and the treatment you're having. You really do become part of the family. I would definitely recommend Rocky Mountain Oncology to someone going through the same thing I went through. The staff, the level of care, it makes a difficult situation a little easier to handle when you have so many incredible people by your side to get you through it.
Hi, my name is Judy Hers, and a little over a year ago, I was diagnosed with a very aggressive breast cancer. After the shock, denial, and fear, I found myself at Rocky Mountain Oncology Center with a wonderful team of experts. This team sat with me, designed an aggressive treatment plan, and began their mission, which resulted in my survival. There was no question unanswered and no concern unaddressed. A very special and wonderful staff jumped in, became my care providers, my friends, and they rallied to aid me at every turn. Rocky Mountain Oncology Center is professional, friendly, and warm, and they made a bad adventure into a good journey. I learned so much and was cared for so well. I miss seeing them all and have made extra trips to the center just to say hello. Would I recommend Rocky Mountain Oncology Center? Absolutely. I am a survivor and cancer-free, all thanks to them.
My name is Mike Mahaffey. I'm a patient at Rocky Mountain Oncology. After being diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma in Denver, I elected to have treatments to try and get rid of my cancer. I had the choice of either staying in Denver, traveling back and forth for my treatments, or choosing a cancer center closer to home. I chose Rocky Mountain Oncology. My quality of life has definitely improved since my radiation was completed. I feel more like myself than I have in the past 4 months. Dr. Tobin and Dr. Henshaw have kept in touch with me. Because I have other medical problems, they have made sure that my doctors outside of the cancer world have always been included in my care. Thank you, Rocky Mountain Oncology, for giving me more quality time with my family and friends.
I'm Ron Knopper. I found out I had a tumor on my left lung. I went to Rocky Mountain Oncology to seek treatment, and that's when I met Dr. Tobin. After I was initially diagnosed, Dr. Tobin reviewed my scans with me. He explained that my tumor was inoperable, so I would need some sort of radiation treatment instead of surgery. He gave me a few treatment options to think about. He was very helpful with his recommendations and was happy to answer all questions I had concerning my treatment. We decided to do stereotactic radiosurgery. The process involved a series of radiation treatments where they targeted the tumor inside my lung and tried to eliminate it.
Stereotactic radiosurgery is an optimal treatment for small lung nodules. We have that technology at Rocky Mountain Oncology.
After my treatments were over, Dr. Tobin did another scan that showed my tumor had shrunk considerably in size. We held off on more treatments, and in 3 months the tumor was only a fraction of its original size, and it showed no metabolic activity. Throughout the whole process, I was treated in a very friendly and professional manner, not only by Dr. Tobin, but by the nurses and the front desk staff, the imaging department, and the radiation technologists. I look forward to seeing Dr. Tobin and Rocky Mountain Oncology staff when I return for my follow-up visit in another 6 months. I am very thankful to all of them and couldn't possibly be more pleased with the results of my treatment.